All right, well, let's bring up our final guest for tonight. He's wonderful. You'll see, he just is so multi-talented, and maybe you recognize him from Comedy Central or his many appearances on other people's podcasts across the nation, or just popping into various people's Instagram feeds. Please welcome Matteo Lane. Matteo.
I mean, hi, how's it going? I think I moved your camera, so other camera guy, if you want to fix it, sorry. I don't want to fuck up what's happening here.
Well, you're really taking control of this.
No, I'm just saying I moved it, I didn't mean to, and you better get a good shot of my face. Also, I had a zit here, so
not such a good picture of it.
And I scratched it all day. But yeah, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
And Matteo, you, of course, you're so involved in all these great things, and I want to talk about them all. But you appreciate the old gay icons, don't you?
Sure.
The
yeah.
Babs, the Liza, the
Liza's
Alice
debatable.
Beat,
Like Maria Callas.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, young Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
I do. I'm like an older gay man.
Yeah.
In my head, I love this sort of like, when are we gonna bring singing back kind of mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not into Taylor Swift, and I could care less if someone wears pumps. You know.
Yeah.
Also not into gay bars where a lot of that new music is played.
Happening.
I'm trying to find a place where you can just go and someone can just play like the French Barbara Streisand album, and I can just drink wine.
Oh, that's.
But this is why I'm single, because I'm not a Dominican in a jockstrap. So I'm sorry. Don't believe me? Go to G Lounge. But yeah.
Truer words were never spoken.
Sure.
But now you don't go in for the kind of the Brits, the ex-Tinas, this kind of thing.
Yeah, Christina might be too much.
Yeah.
I appreciate that she sings, but I think the how added to every song, it's a bit much. I think we would all appreciate some subtlety. Her voice is Jennifer Lopez's clothes. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no subtlety. It's like, get it together.
That's right.
So her voice is a quinceañera, is what I'm trying to say. Just no subtlety and sounds often hoarse, which put it together.
Can you do a little bit of the Liza, though, too?
Yes, I can. My mother, I loved her. I'll never forget the first thing she said to me. She said, Liza, call an ambulance.
I love it. I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, that's what I like doing impressions. I like singing.
You're so gifted at it. I know you like singing. Did you watch the Oscars?
Yeah, of course.
And did you see Lady Gaga there?
She was beautiful.
Wonderful.
The hills are alive. I mean, she came out with that falsetto, and everyone was, I mean, it was really, the good thing about it was, like, she wasn't wearing a fucking cinnamon roll with camel toe. You know what I mean? Like, she came out and sang. And I think that's what she, I think she needed more than we did. But
people were surprised.
I think people were surprised, yeah.
That she actually kind of played it straight and she didn't come out in a cocoon.
Well, she's never going to play anything straight, but she did do it right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I do. But also her name is Stephanie.
Germanata. She's one of my people. She's an Italian.
Somebody calls her Stephanie.
Maybe like her accountant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably doing all right.
He's fine.
That's a job to get, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like seeing old Julie Andrews out there on the stage too.
I thought she looked good.
Don't
you think she looks good? It sucks she can't sing anymore.
I know, they goofed up her voice, but
they did.
I will always appreciate her most as a brunette.
As what? As a brunette?
Yes.
That's what you appreciate about her most?
She came out for that Mary Poppins.
That was a wig.
She made me penguins dance, she did.
Boy.
Absolutely.
I want to think how many more things you can talk about an erection. Like, how many more things from, I don't know.
Well, stay tuned. Matteo, you are a true Renaissance man. You enjoy floppy hats and painting things on ceilings. But you're a visual artist, aren't you?
I'm an oil
And
painter.
you went to the Art Institute out there in Chicago, one of our great institutions. That was a good time for you?
It was a fantastic time.
Well, you're a skilled draftsman, I say that truthfully.
Thanks.
And you spent some time as a commercial artist.
Yeah, I'm quitting this week, but I illustrate television
congratulations.
commercials for a living.
What did you do for Panera Bread?
Panera Bread, I drew one of their commercials. I designed it. I talked to their art director. And by the way, most of these art directors you talk to are idiots and don't know. Like DSW, they're stupid from the top up to the bottom. I mean, they're just the dumbest people in the world. Yeah. I talked to a man.
Pretty clear.
He was an art director. I don't know if he still works there, but his name was Slate. I'm sure that's not his birth name. And the directions he would give me, you know, I'd be like, so like, what colors do you want this picture to be? And he was like, you know, I'm just thinking very Paris. I'm like, okay, that is not a color. So very difficult to work with. But Panera Bread, that was an easy one. They wanted everything to look like it was drawn on a chalkboard, and then I would just draw like a chef floating with like floatable sandwiches.
God, that's great.
Yeah, that's how I fell in love with Howard Stern and all that stuff. Because when you draw all day, you just need someone to talk to you. So I just started listening to podcasts and Howard Stern. And, yeah, it's great.
You probably tuned into this show.
I can't even tell you how many times.
Yeah.
Countless times. The tens of 12s of times that
I've influenced a lot of Panera Bread campaigns.
Yeah. You know.
And what was God's Green America?
Oh, oh my God. It was a fraud company that took bad investments, and they started paying me for a little bit. I was illustrating a comic book for them, but it was a fraud company. So eventually, you know, I moved out. It was like 20 or 21. I moved out of the house and got my own apartment, and then they stopped paying me, and I lost all my money, lost my apartment, had to move back home. It was a terrible, terrible company, and I'm shocked that you know what that is.
Well,
there's probably something on Google. Just Google.
I was an investor.
Yeah, and based off your suit, that's why we went straight to the bottom. It's like, yeah.
Well, I put my $13. Is
that the men's warehouse?
God's Green America. Good luck
It was
to
a terrible, terrible company. Yeah.
Sounds great. Mm-hmm. But what was the first passion? Singing, comedy, drawing?
Drawing.
Yeah, you always picked it up from the early
Always,
age.
yeah. Always. My mother is an artist. I think it's genetic because my brother, sister, and I all draw. And it wasn't like my mom sat us down and like taught us how to draw. We just kind of had it in us. I used to buy a ream of paper a week, and I would draw just by myself over and over. And it was all the same things like Maleficent or Disney princess or Storm from the X-Men. Yeah. Very dramatic women. And then I got into flip books, so my mom would have to buy me flip books, animations.
I thought you said foot books.
That too, and a clubbed foot. But I used to buy Post-its once a week. I'd get like the pack of 15 and I'd fill them up. I mean, I was probably a crazy child, but I would sit and draw. And then I went to school, the Art Institute of Chicago, and then I got a job as that, but I studied opera. It was the whole thing.
Wonderful. And the opera, you were always singing as a young child.
Yeah, but I didn't start till I was like 15, which is good because men are supposed to start singing after they hit puberty. Right. So my vocal cords had...
Let things drop and then go.
Let things drop, because it can fuck up your voice if you learn a technique too young.
Yes, in many things.
Anal, you know. Sure.
I'll give you that one. Mm-hmm. But of course, I remember as a boy, I would be out there mowing the lawn and just singing at the top of my lungs, McCavity from Cats. He's a master of depravity. And I didn't realize until years later that the whole neighborhood could hear me because I'm singing louder than the lawnmower.
I used to come home from preschool and sing to the birds like Sleeping Beauty did. And I talk about it now as a joke, but I never told a soul that because my neighbor called my mom and shamed me when I was like 4. And so I never ever did it again. And then so the first time like a year ago, I went to like an open mic and just started talking about it on stage. I had not spoken about it since I was 4 years old. Yeah. And I got off stage and I was leaving with my friend Amber, who we've had on this show, and I started sobbing. And I don't know why. It was this weird thing that I'd never told anyone, and I had so much shame that I held on to it for so long. And I know not to get too serious, but I started crying, and I just could. It was so. Amber's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I just told a thing I've never said to anyone." And then now I use it in my act, and people laugh at it. But I did the same thing, and I was shamed at a young age for it.
But comedy is a powerful way to heal, isn't it?
Sure. Sure, that sounds wonderful. It doesn't
Yeah. Things we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And but who were your comedy heroes?
I love.
Because you made a kind of break. I mean, you were going down very lucrative paths, a commercial artist or opera singing.
I think I'm more
comedy.
Well, Howard Stern and Christopher Hitchens are two huge heroes of mine, and as a comedian, Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
I love Joan Rivers. I know that's hacky to say because I'm gay, but who gives a shit? You know, I got the comedy bug. That's pretty dumb to say, but I remember storyboarding in college, and I was trying to find stuff to watch, and I watched a Joan Rivers special. I'd never seen her before, and it really stuck with me because for me, as a gay guy, it's very difficult to get into comedy because it's told by straight white men, and I can't relate on the level to where I want to invest in that. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Joan opened that door. She allowed me to understand and appreciate comedy in a way that I hadn't before. Now that's just me, that's not everybody. So for her, she really pushed me into sort of seeing it also as like a weapon, as a tool to stand back up. Because, everyone's calling me a faggot in high school, so it was a way for me, like, oh, that's very attractive. It stuck with me, yeah. But, I love Tig Notaro, I love Bill Hicks, I love Bill Burr, I love George Carlin.
All the greats.
Yeah, but I would say Howard Stern and Christopher Hitchens and Joan Rivers are my top comedy.
Those are solid answers.
Sure. I'm sorry.
And what do you have going on next, Matteo?
Oh, I'm single.
Good.
That's about it. I'll be spending the rest of the week getting rid of my camel toe. That's about it. Oh, you mean career-wise?
You know what I did? I just bought bigger pants.
Did you? I know, but I can't. I don't know how to dress myself, so I'm going to have my lesbian friend's wife dress me. She's a stylist.
You can come over to Joseph A. Bank with me if you want.
And then you can go to
like 10 suits. You get 10 suits. You buy one, you get 10.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Any shows coming up, though? Other than personal life and whatever you're dealing with in your crowds?
Oh, I will be at, I'm opening for Anthony Jeselnik next week in Tampa.
Oh, terrific.
So it's the first week in March, and I'm very excited about it.
I used to play Tampa a lot.
Did you?
Yeah. Tempe to Tampa was
Yeah.
our circuit.
And then
a long circuit, but it was a fun one. A lot of forgetful audiences.
That's most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost got beat up by 4 Turkish guys the other week.
No.
They didn't like gay people, and then I got into it with them, and then they stood up to beat the shit out of me, and I had to leave. It's actually really scary, to tell you the truth. And I'm going to open my big fat mouth and die one day.
Well, I think you made the right call.
By making fun of them?
Okay. Well, by walking away.
No, I kind of ran away.
Yeah. Well,
there wasn't so much of a walk. Yeah.
I'd just be a puff of smoke.
Well, I got what I had to say to them, which wasn't nice, and then I was like,
yeah,
and then just ran out of there. So.
Well, it's great. Well, I wish you all the success in the world, and I hope that we get another chance to talk about some things because you're doing such great work.
Oh, well, thank you very much, and good job on the bass guitar. What is that?
It's a small little guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, and thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. Matteo Lane, everybody. How about that? And let's keep it going for all of our guests tonight. Kaytlin Bailey, Julio Torres, Cariad Harmon. Thanks to Steve back here. As always, that's great. Thank you to the Pick. We're going to be back live March 24th with just a top-notch program that she emailed me, and I think it's all going to work out, but I'm not going to tell you who yet. So tune in to DaleRadio.com for that. Now, until next time, I'll be fashioning some ice skates out of my old empty whiskey bottles and trying to make it across the enormous sludge puddle that's at the end of my block. Now let's get back to that great music that we all enjoy. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.